Hello world, Evan here with Moviesauce. If you're new to the channel or you came for some other reason, or if you're an old subscriber who came here for gear reviews, either way, this is a gear review. So if that doesn't interest you, stop watching. It's been a while since I've done any kind of a gear review. I've acquired some gear quite a bit since the last time I've tried to do one of these. I guess I sort of maybe lost a little interest or got a little busy doing other things, and you know, my goal in life's not to be a professional gear reviewer, but I have a lot of stuff that I use all the time on client shoots or personal projects. I'm always trying to get better at what I'm doing and trying new pieces of equipment as things evolve and come out, technology changes. So I thought I would do a series of videos updating on kind of what I'm using now, because we're all under quarantine right now. If you're watching this years in the future, this might not sound relevant, but right now I'm stuck at home for the next foreseeable future, next few weeks or so. So making the most of it, doing some channel updates. This video is gonna be about my Quasar Science QLED battery-powered LED tube lights. It's a kit of 3 lights of different sizes that are very cool. A lot of people use the Quasar Science tubes because they're really cheap and they've been used in a lot of stuff. The normal ones are plug-in powered, they're not battery powered. These are cool because they're battery powered. So you can buy them in a kit of 3 different sizes, and one kit that comes with like some little baby pins, some chargers, kind of everything you need, and it comes in a nice little carrying case, which makes the perfect little kind of run and gun light setup for like a quick interview, or you know, doing a client job where you got to go some office space on like the 15th floor of a building, and it's really hard to haul a bunch of gear and stands up there. These little lights are perfect. So I'm using them right now for a classic 3-point light setup. Got the bigger one over here, got the smallest one over here, and got the medium one behind me doing a hair light. And they're all adjustable, they're dimmable, in addition to being bicolor, so you can have them daylight temp or tungsten. And then there's, I think, 4 levels of dimming. And then in addition to them being 3 different sizes and amount, you know, obviously the biggest one's gonna put out the most power. There's a lot of flexibility in how you arrange those 3 sizes and, you know, their dimmability or whatever. But I've fallen in love with these lights. I think the kit costs around $700, which can seem a lot for 3 LED lights. But I've used them almost exclusively for like the last 6 months since I've had them. Once I realized that they make the perfect sort of interview setup. And they're also just easy to carry out in a remote location or something if you just need to give a little fill on something that you're maybe primarily using natural light with. It's really easy to just grab one of these, you know, hit the button, turn it on. You can even have somebody stand off to the side holding it. You don't have to worry about plugging it in or anything. It's really super convenient. The quality of the light seems nice. I've never used like the fanciest of LED lights, but these seem to be very clean, high CRI, I guess. Not that I have any way of measuring that against anything. But just from firsthand experience, I really love these. I highly recommend them. The only downside really is that, you know, given the different sizes of the tubes, they all have different battery capacities. So the smallest one is gonna run out first, the medium-sized one will run out after that, and then the largest one is gonna last the longest. So if you're doing a whole day of shoots, it's maybe not the best. I think the little one, I tried to measure them when I first got them, and then I kind of forgot what they were. But the littlest one I think is maybe a little over an hour, maybe an hour and a half before it dies. The medium one's like over 2 hours, and then the big one I think is like almost 4 hours. So there is you know, you can't just leave them set all day for a bunch of interviews, but in most cases with client stuff that I do, we're doing 2 or 3 or 4 interviews within maybe 2 hours. And I've yet to have one die on me, but it is something I'm thinking about in the shoot. If the interview's starting to run slow or run longer than I thought, you know, I do have that in the back of my head that one of these lights could go out, the little one. So I tend to favor the 2 larger ones, and then like if there's some natural light in the room, kind of use that as a third light. But aside from that, they're really cool. They also have magnets on the back, so you can stick them to metal, which is really cool. And I've actually, since I got these, I've started to notice a lot of professional Hollywood projects like HBO shows and stuff. I'm trying to remember a specific example now. But a lot of projects where they'll use them as practical lights within the shot. So you might stick it above a doorway to seem like kind of an old fluorescent light above like a back alley door or something. You might stick it under a hood vent or something under a counter to be like an under counter light. Of course, it's only going to stick to metal, but it's been kind of fun. Now when I get to a set, I think about, oh, where are there magnetic surfaces that I might be able to attach one of these on? In our Steve Olson documentary, we used them as practicals just to light. We were in a junkyard, and so we had a huge space of kind of metal junk going back into like infinity behind Steve in our main interview shot. So I lit him with my other lights and then used these as little practicals going back to make sure we could see the setting behind him. So that's really fun. I'm going to try to show some examples over the last 6 months of shots where I've used them. So there was a little cooking video we did where I used one of these under the, just stuck it on the hood vent, shooting straight down at the stove. Got me some nice light on the close-ups of the cooking, and this was in a practical location, somebody's house, so there's not a lot you can do to alter the light. So it was a great little quick fix. So in addition to having these be super portable in their little case, easy to carry to set, I also use these Manfrotto, I don't know what model they are. They're lightweight stands, but the trick with them is they connect to each other. So you can get 3 of them. They snap into each other and go into a bag. And so it's a really easy like shoulder mount bag. You can toss over your shoulder with 3 stands in it, carry this little hard case of battery powered LED tube lights, and you're ready for an interview. So that's really great. They have a threaded hole on the bottom, so they can screw directly into the threads on the top of the pin on these light stands. Or you can, they also include a little baby pin in the case you can screw on to stick it into a C-stand head. They're very, very flexible. The most sort of all-purpose lights I think I've ever had. I guess another pain is so they all charge over USB, and they each have their own individual charger. At some point, I guess I need to get some sort of a multi-charger of some sort, because it's like 3 different plugs I got to plug in to charge them. The big one can take a while to recharge, but again, if you just have nowadays we all have kind of charging stations at our houses or in our studios or offices where you're just gonna have to charge everything. I've not used them plugged in, but I think you can. It's just a little wonky because they're powered by USB, so you got to wire a USB cable to the stand. And I guess presumably, eventually, over a couple years of use, I assume the batteries will slowly deteriorate, and I don't think they're user replaceable. Might be something you could talk to Quasar Science about, maybe changing the batteries out down the road. So that might be a negative to some people, is they are fixed. It's kind of like your cell phone, where eventually the battery's just going to go bad. But I feel like they've already paid for themselves. They are a little pricey, but they're super, super versatile. And I've used them constantly for all kinds of different things. So great lights. I'll probably buy more at some point down the road, but yeah, if you're looking for like a really super portable, easy to use LED setup that covers the color spectrum, dimmable, battery powered, it's hard to beat these. Highly recommended. Quasar Science. Great job, guys. Buy them if you want them, or don't if you don't want to. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. I'm gonna try to crank out some more of these, so stay tuned for more. That's it. The world's ending, and this is my opinion of some lights.